name is Daytona Hodson, and I'm the Speaker Pro Tempore of the House for the 55th Oklahoma Intercollegiate Legislature. By watching this video, we will be walking you through how to participate in discussions on bills from start to end. So we're really excited for you to be joining the House, and we look forward to soon hearing your voice and hearing those motions, those authorship speeches, and really passionate debates. First, there are a few things you should know before we get into the actual bill. It's important to know what bills are actually going to be up for discussion and what the content is in each of those bills. Typically the night or morning before we convene at the Capitol, we will be posting Orders of the Day. Orders of the Day are essentially a list of bills that utilize a school code and a number to inform all representatives of what we will be talking about during the day. Sometimes we get through all of the Orders of the Day, other times we have to put additional bills on there, then sometimes we will fall behind. But the good news is it's always a great base to base your discussions and research on. However, it is our goal to get through as many bills as possible while maintaining the educational discourse and debate within the body. If you want to do research before the bill hits the floor, or you want to know just simply how to prepare for an authorship speech to introduce your own bill, make sure to look on the House Facebook page and stay tuned on announcements from the House chair as well. We'll be posting the Orders of the Day on our website at all times, so this way representatives can effectively prepare for those discussions. Next, it's important to know where to actually find the bills. Our floor leader and chief clerk will be maintaining a record of our bills that we will be hearing on the OKOIL website under the House of Representatives. You can basically easily click on the name of the bill in the Orders of the Day section, and then click on or you can even click on the bill packet and Control F to find the school and number of the bill as well. Once you know what bills are being presented and where to find the bill itself, now it's time to hear the bill hit the floor. Once we convene, our chief clerk will call roll. This will ensure that we have quorum present, or enough people to actually pass the bills. Once the roll has been completed, the following process will begin.
Orders of the day.
Orders of the day have been called. School, what are the orders of the day?
Orders of the day are House Bill ORQ 519. Please recognize Representative McDaniel.
Chief Clerk, will you please read the law title?
An act relating to toy gun sales and minors, providing short title, providing for definitions, providing for application, providing for penalties, and providing an effective date.
Is there an author present?
Indeed there is.
Author, you are now recognized for 2 minutes in time for author's explanation. Begin whenever you do.
Thank you, Speaker. So the point of this bill is, and I now leave the rest of my time to questions.
If you yield your time, it will go into the time available for questioning, assuming based on the calendar. If you don't, it will just simply disappear into the void and nobody will have that extra time for questions. So if you would like that additional time to be added for questions, make sure to specify that at the end of your author's explanation speech.
Thank you, Author, for your speech. We are now on for 7 minutes in time for questions. Shall there be questions? Representative Bishop, at what point do you rise?
I rescind.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
You're probably confused on what just happened. One thing that we like to stress is that while there is a competitive nature to this event, and yes, there are awards at the very end, you are only going to receive those type of awards if you are first being a good representative that is actively contributing to the body. So wait until the speaker finishes saying, "Shall there be questions?" to raise your placard or name card. You can raise your placard at any time during the questioning period to ensure that you're on the questions list, unless the questions list is closed. A placard should at least have your name clearly presented on it and your school, so that the speaker is able to call your name from the back of the room.
And shall there be questions? Representative Bishop, on the first question.
Thank you, Speaker. Bishop, OSU.
To make sure that we know who our representatives are, make sure to say your last name and school affiliation, so this way you can improve your odds of getting recognized by our Rules Committee. That committee is the same group of individuals that decides who gets awards at the end of the event. So by saying your last name and school code, it will help you have better odds on that.
Author, do you believe that this bill will help to reduce gun violence in Oklahoma?
Thank you very much for your question. I believe that indeed the potential dangers of gun violence amongst toy gun users and minors would definitely be reduced.
During the time for questioning, we encourage you to caucus in the back of the room. This enables you to hear what other people are saying about the bill, so this way you can get any necessary questions answered. Now, this is also a really good time to write any amendments and go to the restroom if need be as well. While the House chambers are large, make sure to speak with a soft whisper, so that this way you can still hear the questions that are being answered by the author, and so that the author can effectively answer those questions and hear incoming questions.
Thompson, the next question.
Thank you, Speaker. Permission for a two-part.
Granted.
Author, can you tell us what motivated you to write this bill? And second, what motivated you to include such harsh penalties?
In the last question, the representative asked permission for a two-part. This is because they asked a question that had or essentially had two questions at once. For any two-part question, you will need to say both questions at the beginning. You can't just say one question and then wait for the response and then ask the second question. A two-part question needs to be conducted all together.
Thank you again for that question. Simply put, I feel like kids have too much fun, and we need to cut back on that. And I think if putting in these protections, it will reduce toy gun violence, and violators should be heavily punished.
Permission for a follow-up.
Follow-up granted.
Author, are you concerned that the penalties of this bill are too harsh?
On a follow-up is used when the question you asked provoked another question. It is up to the discretion of the chair whether or not to grant the follow-up question, so always make sure to ask for it if you feel as if you need to ask a follow-up question. If the chair decides not to grant you a follow-up question, most of the time your name will be added to the end of the questions list, so this way, if we do still have time, your question will be answered. Now, there's also a very similar point of privilege that is on clarification. On clarification is used when the author asks you to repeat your question or clarify it in a way so the author can better answer that. In this scenario, if the author had told Representative Thomason they didn't really understand their question, Thomason could have asked for on clarification, and the chair could have granted that.
Yo, too loud. Yo, on privilege.
On privilege has been called. Representatives, please keep your caucusing to the back of the room and keep it to a door order. Thank you.
On privilege can be used by any representative who feels as if the room is too loud to hear the author during questions.
On information,
On information, Representative Rodriguez.
how much time is left in questions?
We have 4 minutes left.
On information is used when a representative is needing information about what is currently happening on the floor. You can ask for almost any piece of information, but it is important to remember that if you think your information is just for your own knowledge and not really important to the rest of the body, it is okay to ask to approach the dais and get that information answered. However, if you do think that the information is important to the rest of the body, you can use on information and ask the chair if they can provide that piece of information. It is important to make sure to direct your on information towards the chair instead of the body at large. So that means it would look something like this. On information. Chair, are you informed about, and then this detail, or Chair, do you have the information for, and then this piece of information?
Representative Hutchins, the next question.
Asked and answered.
If your question has been answered by someone else, or you forgot your question, you can use ask and answered, and you will forfeit that question. However, if you, instead of using asked and answered, you would like to yield that question to another representative, you can also do so in that same scenario if you forgot that question, or if somebody else has asked your question already.
Representative Walker, you are now recognized for your next question.
Now, there is the option during questioning to amend a bill. Amendments to a bill need 3 things to happen. First, they need to be typed out and submitted through the House Google form found on the House page on the OIL website. Then, once you are recognized during questioning, you will read your amendment verbatim over the mic just like this.
Walker S.E., would the author be amenable to an amendment in Section 3, subsection A, to insert the words "in perpetuity" after all stores?
Yes, indeed.
The author of the amendment just made has a few parts. The first part is that it states the section so the author is aware of what part of the bill you are amending. Then it says strikes, which signifies complete elimination of the words. You can also replace with and then blank, or simply add after or before the words that you would like to have amended. You can even add a completely new section if you feel it is necessary. However, on this, it is important to remember to refrain from making the bill dilatory. If you want to add a penalty section, for example, to a bill, you must also amend the long title of the bill within the same amendment. It is also important to maintain the initial intent of the bill. While we do enjoy this activity to debate and act like a legislative body, it is important to remember that other representatives have worked really hard on these bills. I would strongly encourage you not to make an amendment that won't change how you vote on the bill. This way we can keep the body moving efficiently and effectively. Once the amendment has been read over the microphone, the author of the bill will either accept the amendment as a friendly amendment or will reject the amendment. If another representative other than yourself would like to see the amendment in the bill, have them second the amendment on the Google form as well as the physical signature form. After you have completed these steps, you will walk to the chief clerk and provide them with the signature form. The same goes for if the author accepts the amendment as a friendly amendment. You will instead get the signature of the author and type the author's name in the Google document as the seconding name.
I'll motion this amendments. I'll move the previous questions, Bill.
Motion for the body is to previous questions bill.
Anytime after the author's explanation, you can state a motion. A cheat sheet will be provided, but can also be located on our website under the Orders of the Day tab. Any on-information claims will take precedent over a motion. Once the author states their motion, the chair will follow the specific guidelines to then vote on that motion. If you would like to do multiple motions within one motion, you will say permission for a stackable before proceeding with stating your motion. Now, some motions may also require a suspension of the rules. This is when you are changing the rules of the calendar or one of the House standing rules. This means when you state your motion, you will say, motion, by suspension of the rules, I move to, and then you will state your motion. For example, the representative moved to the previous question, which means we will put the bill up to vote immediately, skipping time for debate and hostile amendments. Friendly amendments will be accepted. Moving to the previous question is a very frequent motion that can be used if you feel that nobody has additional amendments to submit to the bill, or if nobody is going to be changing their mind on how they vote. Once again, we encourage the body to move efficiently, but also effectively.
Motion for the body is to previous questions bill. I'll need to see at least 2 standing seconds.
Clearly seeing 2 standing seconds. This will pass without seeing 10 standing objections. Clearly seeing 10 standing objections. This motion hereby fails.
In this scenario, the vote on the motion failed, so we return in time for questions. Now, it is possible that the chair will be in doubt and will ask for a recount with everyone standing.
On motion.
I'll motion Representative Shearer.
Thank you, Speaker Shearer. OU. I move to allow time for questions.
Motion for the body is to allow time for questions. Do I hear a second? Second. Consent to pass.
For anything that is a motion without a suspension of the rules, you can say consent do pass or consent do fail. What this means is that the chair will pass the motion without hearing an objection. If both are said, we will have a vote on the motion just like normal. In this scenario, all we hear is consent do pass. In this same situation, Representative Shearer could have also said, I move to close the list, or I move to extend time to the end of the list. Both of these motions would have prevented other representatives from adding their name onto the list of questions. However, it seems that another representative wanted to move on past the time for questions. So the original motion to move to elapse time for questions was exactly what they were trying to do.
Hearing consent to pass, this will pass without objection, objection, objection. So this motion hereby passes. Author, you are now dismissed. We are now in line for hostile amendment. Clerk, are there any hostile amendments?
There is one hostile amendment.
Will you please read it?
Amending Section 2, subsection B and adding subsection E, stating enforcement of this legislation will be overseen by the Department of Transportation.
Is there an author present?
Indeed there is.
You are now recognized for 1 minute in time for author's explanation, beginning whenever you do.
Now the time for author's explanation and questioning will be dependent on what calendar we are on.
Thank you, Speaker. Shearer, OU, you should vote in favor of my hostile amendment because it's awesome. Thank you. I yield time for questions.
With that, the author is yielded 30 seconds of time for questions, meaning there will be 3 minutes and 30 seconds for questions. Shall there be questions? Seeing no questions, time for questions will elapse. Author, you are now dismissed.
It is possible that you could call for debate if you feel that further discussion is needed on the amendment. More information about the rules of debate will happen shortly.
All those in favor of passing, please rise with the placard in hand and properly stand. All opposed to passing this amendment, please rise with the placard in hand and properly stay standing. The amendment hereby fails. Chief Clerk, you are now, are there any more hostile amendments?
No.
Seeing no more hostile amendments, we are now on to debate on the bill as a whole. Shall we debate? Debate. Hearing calls for debate, I'll need the opponency on this side of the room and the proponency on this side of the room.
During debate, the speaker will give both sides a few minutes to build their debate lists of names who are going to be debating. Then a representative from each side will deliver the list to the Speaker Pro Tempore. Time for debate is established by the calendar, so if you want to change the time or rules for debate, you will need to make a motion with a suspension of the rules. Before the debate, the Speaker will go over the time allotments and other rules so that each side feels prepared for the debate. After the first debater has gone, we would then alternate down the list, ensuring that time used between both sides matches for either group. Lastly, the proponency will start and close debate.
Thank you, Representatives. I will now entertain a round of applause for all representatives who participated in debate. We are now in line for author summation. Is there an author present for author summation?
Please.
Yeah. You will now be recognized for 1 minute time for explanation. Whatever you do.
Thank you, Speaker. I really appreciate all the debate, and I urge you to vote for this bill. I yield back.
Thank you, author. We are now in line for final passage of the bill as a whole. All those in favor, please stand with your placard. Thank you, you may be seated. Those in opposition, please rise and stand. Thank you guys, all may be seated. With a final vote of 22 in the affirmative and 8 in the negative, this bill hereby passes.
Now we sing Oklahoma.